everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.
And man, oh man, Nick, we just got back from probably the best race weekend that we've ever
And
experienced. We just went to the best NASCAR race of all time.
I was just getting ready to say it. I've been going to Cup Series races since 2012, and my goodness, like from start to finish, that Kansas race on Sunday, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, what more could you want as a racing fan than what we saw on Sunday? Oh, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. Drove out to Kansas City, Kansas with you and Pat and stayed at the good old American motels, smelled like cigarettes. And, oh, what a beautiful time. What a shadiest
Uh,
looking place, but hey, it was 10
hey,
minutes away from the track. It worked out perfect. Had
hey,
a
man,
BP that sold beer.
we were living it up, that's for sure. But for sure, out of all the races I've been to, that was the one this race weekend takes a cake out of any other race weekend that I've been a part of, because just that was, oh my goodness.
Absolutely, man. It was such a great time. Can't wait to talk more about it. But before we do, let's do our diecast of the week. Let's see what you got, buddy.
Well, now that we're shifting gears, it's throwback weekend now. So first things first, I got this beautiful throwback shirt that you got me. This is Denny Hamlin's Sport Clip car. A couple years back, I'm not too sure what the year was, but got me a nice little throwback shirt. And this Advocare hat, this is when they threw it back. I want to say 2017 is when they released these things. So we got throwback on throwback looks. So I got to go with the throwback car for throwback
Was
weekend.
that the throwback to Mark Martin's Valvoline car?
I think that's this one right here.
Yep. Yes,
Yep,
it
this is
is.
the one. 2016 Trevor Bayne throwback. He did a couple marked cars for throwbacks. The one I really want is the 2015 one. They never released it. I forgot which one that is exactly, but the font of the six. It's the best font of the six out there. But yep, throwback weekend. Got to get a throwback scheme out there, and this car's beautiful. The whole throwback look is beautiful. I love this weekend.
Absolutely, man. And just on time is Mr. Tom coming in.
There we go.
You got that pizza pretty early.
Hello.
Hello, buddy.
I put it I put it in the oven because, some things are more important than eating, like the
Very,
stock car spectacle.
very true. Got to
Anyway,
starve yourself for it. Well,
anyway.
buddy, we are talking our diecast of the week. If you got something ready.
Oh, I came prepared with this Tony Stewart diecast. It's throwback weekend. I'm thinking you got to think of something that is iconic. That would be a great throwback. It's simple, so you could make the sponsors line up with it. I think we should see more Home Depot-esque throwbacks. But I just feeling a little nostalgic, and I remember seeing this car a lot in my childhood. Thought it appropriate for throwback weekend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love that Home Depot scheme back in the day. It was just plain and simple.
Are you a Lowe's guy or a Home Depot guy now, today?
I would say Home Depot, definitely just because there's one 2 minutes away from my house.
There you go. Nick, yourself? Home Depot, Lowe's?
I think I've only been in a Lowe's like once or twice, so I'm gonna
Huh.
have to go with the Home Depot route. And Home Depot has the greatest hot dogs of all time. So
That's
Home.
not. I lived in Oklahoma for a long time. It's not the case everywhere. There's just a regular door
There's
there.
just
Yeah.
there's
You
just
don't get a
something
hot dog.
about there's just something about getting shopping at Home Depot, and then you
Hmm.
smell the hot dog stand. You just gotta go get one, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a Lowe's guy, but I did go to shopping at Home Depot. There's a Home Depot more accessible to me now in my new
Yeah.
apartment than there is a Lowe's. So, but I still think I'd like Lowe's better.
I don't know,
The
man. I think
options there.
Menards dunks on them all.
Menards, I shopped at a Menards this weekend too. Menards is gold, but I'd never had Menards down south. So,
Oh yeah, it's
you know,
all Midwestern stuff. I remember going
and
down
even
to
the south
Talladega.
suburbs where I grew up, we didn't have a lot of Menards near us.
Yeah,
So,
I remember going to Talladega for the first time, and people like came up to me and they're like, "What the hell is a Menards?"
It's
All right.
incredible.
But for my diecast of the week, like you guys have been saying, it is NASCAR Throwback Week. So I have to throw it back to my one of my favorite throwback paint schemes when William Byron ran the
Mm,
Days of Thunder, and they actually brought back the real sponsor, the City Chevrolet, on there. Just such a beautiful paint scheme. Hendrick has just been absolutely killing it with their throwback paint schemes this year. I think that Chase Elliott, Dale Jr. National Guard throwback, that one just takes the
yeah,
cake for all the throwbacks this year.
they really do look nice. I mean, it's an all-time set of four right there.
Yep.
I wish they went with a different Jeff Gordon scheme, but you know, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, and the fourth one still is really, really well done. So,
Man, it was almost perfect with that 24. The yellow should be on the splitter, not
mhm.
like right
But
here.
NASCAR doesn't let you paint the splitter, and I don't know why
No.
they didn't do the whole rear bumper. I don't know what the big deal is there, but
Oh well, I
oh
mean,
well,
it's
yeah.
as close as we're gonna get, and man, I love Throwback Week. But guys, probably the biggest story coming out of today, Dale Jr. is gonna be signing over with TNT and Amazon as well. So it's gonna be huge. We know that he is not gonna be with NBC for this season, which really, really blows. Won't be able to hear Junior this season, but that's huge. I'm excited for the merge with TNT now.
Yeah, he's a great asset to have. I mean, he just knows so much of the history and whatnot. And he's almost going to be a Mike Joy type guy just with the knowledge that he brings. I still think this is a net negative for NASCAR, and here's why. It's only 10 races, and during that time, we're going to have to jump around to about a lot of different channels, a lot of different services just to find NASCAR and whatnot. And I think Junior should be up front and center in the sport. And I just think that we're going to lose a lot of him doing just 10 races and jumping around like that.
Yeah, it is a real shame. Would not be like you said, would not be front and center. He is really, if you think about it, the poster boy of NASCAR still is. If you go to the track, you'll still see hundreds of people wearing Dale Earnhardt Jr. stuff.
Oh my God, you
And
find a random person on the street and you ask them to name a NASCAR driver, they'll be like, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
yeah.
Like that's still to this day.
So you
Yeah,
think
I'm
like
just
it's crazy.
for me, I'm as much as I love NBC, I'm worried about the product we're gonna get from them this year. Like this is a big like losing Dale Jr. for this team. Like so much that he's brought to the NBC team. Like I feel like the NBC broadcast is gonna just it's gonna take a hit. I still think it's gonna be better than what Fox puts out there. It's not really hard to do that, but yeah, I think the NBC team is gonna take a hit. But I am excited for next year to see how these two go with TNT and then Amazon Prime as well. So
And
yeah, well, at least we're
now we
getting
just have
some
to wait who they're going to pair him with too, which is
right.
really important too. And there's a lot of rumors and stuff going around there. I hoping Bestwick is a part of it, but
Yeah.
even watching him do the SRX is kind of ho hum and whatnot. But I do think it's a big loss to not have Junior this season for sure as well.
Yeah, big time, especially with how insane this season has been so far. It would have been nice to hear Junior call the playoffs for this
Mhm.
year, but
I don't understand why people are. Maybe I'm in the super minority here, but I'm excited to have Lee Diffie back in the booth for NASCAR. I just think he's electrifying and whatnot. And here's my argument for that. And I know you guys are gonna hoe and hum at me, but you watch an F1 broadcast and nothing is happening on the track, and those guys can make it so exciting, so much like nothing's happening, and they're talking about it like the stakes are so high. And that's the thing that I think Lee Diffie will bring to the table and whatnot. He's not gonna joke around. Not that NBC was doing a lot of joking around of late, but he takes it seriously. He plays the stakes as the highest as he thinks they are. And I'm really excited to see what Lee Diffie does when he is given the reins.
yeah, I think Lee Diffie is an amazing announcer. It's just it's always weird when he comes in for like those one-off races and you just
Mhm.
hear it, you're like, oh, okay, we got a Brit today. But yeah, it's just it's gonna be weird to get used to because all of
Yeah,
our
but he's
lives
he's
we've
gonna have
been
it. He's gonna have a string together and whatnot, and so he'll
oh
be there to
yeah.
see the storylines develop and whatnot too. So it's not gonna be this one. It will be a little funky because it sounds like they're gonna shift around they're not going to start with the same people that they're going to finish the season with. So that'll be a little funky and whatnot. It's just I'm just confused as to why NBC didn't sign Junior through the TV contract, because they're starting a new TV contract. It would make more sense if this were all happening next year. But yeah, this is just kind of a goofy thing, and it all has to do with Xfinity and NBC probably leaving the sponsorship of Xfinity and all that stuff we talked about a couple weeks ago with that as well. They're just not as invested as they were, but they're still going to do a good job. Like, they have that baseline there. We know the quality of Fox versus NBC has been really good and whatnot, and whoever they put in the booth, they're going to be talented and take it seriously. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that is for sure. Alrighty, well, guys, let's talk about this Kansas race weekend. Man, oh man, Nick, we saw two bangers of a race out there for our first time at Kansas Speedway.
We got blessed. That's, my goodness. Like, we were talking about it a little bit before Tom joined in, but man, out of all the race weekends I've been to, this one for sure just takes the cake. A plus facility, first of all. Like, they had a lot of stuff going on around there.
They had like a whole lounge area.
Yeah,
nice.
A whole little lounge area. They had like pickleball courts set up inside the racetrack. So right before going into turn one, they had that whole lounge area. This A plus facility, and my goodness, A plus
Great
plus
food trucks.
plus. Great food trucks. Had the best tacos of my life on Sunday before the Cup race. Celebrated Cinco de Mayo, right? I guess, but yeah, just I was blown away.
So it was what you're saying. It was worth getting rained out at Michigan last year.
Yes.
That's what
Big
caused
time.
you to go for these tickets, right? Am I mistaken there?
We kept saying, like, man, thank God Michigan rained out, because like we were thinking about going to Kansas, but this was like the first sure, like, we're going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, well, we'll definitely talk about the race on Sunday, but the facility, the area around, I mean, easy to get to. There was no traffic getting in. We got out of the track after the Cup race within less than 5 minutes. We were on the
Wow.
highway. They really know how to get it done there. We didn't have to wait to get into the track to like walk in. Just walked right in. It was absolutely amazing. It was still pretty packed, even though it kind of rained out on people. And just led up to a great, fantastic weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
Cold.
even with the rain, it was worth the wait for that race. I mean, from start to finish, the Cup race, I'm talking,
Yep.
start to finish was incredible to watch it all develop and whatnot. And obviously, we'll get to the finish, but it looks so fun. I was jealous of all your photos out there.
Yeah, me and Nick were saying, like, this has to be a yearly trip for us. I mean, it's less than 7 hours away.
Yeah.
Not a bad ride out there, and so much fun. Tom, definitely next year you got to come out there with us, man.
Yeah, I got to figure out how to get there, or maybe go see the playoff race when it comes back around this year.
Yeah, it did not disappoint. But guys, let's get into this Truck Series race on Saturday night. We had Chase Purdy winning the pole. And Nick, this put a smile on your face. Early trouble for Ty Majeski. He made contact and had a tire go down on lap 2. And he just had multiple issues after that. Wasn't able to compete. And man, I know you like to see it, but in all, you just hate to see it for a guy like this. He's able to, a good driver, but man, he just runs into a lot of bad luck.
I was out of my seat right away. I was the only one giving a round of applause. It was a good time.
Alrighty, and then Corey Heim wins stage 1. Zane Smith shows out in the Truck Series once again and wins stage 2. Good to see for that McAnally truck. And this guy, he just continues to surprise me. Lawless Allen, the best name in racing, but probably the worst driver to ever come into this series, overshoots his pit stall and slams into his front tire changer. Tire changer had to go to the care center. Didn't have to go to the hospital. He was back out there changing the tires, but God, how many times does this guy have to embarrass himself where they just kick him out of the ride?
Till he runs out of money, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. 'Cause it's just a running circus with this guy at this point.
Very bad. Very bad.
Yeah. Stuff, man. I love that name. I just wish he could be a better driver. Man, I would just love you. And Lawless Allen wins. Like, oh, that would be so sick.
We
But
need to
no,
have
man.
a racing competition. Maybe just set up a drag race between Lawless Allen of the Truck Series and Stingray Robb of the IndyCar Series. Just
Two
set
of
up
the
their
best
own.
names, but they're
Yeah,
just shit drivers.
yeah. When they say that, like that advertisement cliche, you have the best names in motorsport. It's literally just about their names, and it's not about their skill.
Yeah, for real. Oh my god. Guys, how about Caden Honeycutt battling with Corey Heim for the lead? They were going at it for quite a few laps. I was disappointed. I was in the bathroom and I was coming back, and
Yeah, I
Nick
was.
was like, "Oh my dude, Honeycutt was going for it."
He was all over him. He just could not. He would get side by side with him, but he just could not make the pass. But yeah, I was very impressed with how that 45 truck did it. I didn't see that one coming. He just kind of he was there, and he's like, "I'm going to win this thing," and I really thought he was going to be able to pull it off. But yeah, just a great run for the 45 and for Nice Motorsports. I hope this leads to more opportunities for Caden Honeycutt going down the stretch because he looked real damn good on Saturday night.
He's
Yeah,
one of those younger names. Jeff Gluck, Jordan Bianchi were talking about a couple weeks ago on their podcast about how it's really exciting time. There's just a lot of great talent out there in like the Cars Tour and running late models and whatnot. And he's one of those guys that's slowly rising to the top and somebody we want to keep an eye on. He's very talented, and obviously when you're running in the 45 truck, and you're up there competing for the front of the field like that, it's impressive to see for sure.
yeah, it really says something. But guys, Corey Heim wins this race. Nick, you called it last week. You said that this guy made his Cup Series debut. He was filling in for Eric Jones again, and this was just going to give him a lot of confidence. And what did it do, man? He looked good throughout this entire race. He won, and Caden Honeycutt, best career finish of fourth place. So congrats to Caden Honeycutt. But Nick, good call last week, buddy.
Man, that's one I hate to be right about. But yeah, it had been a while since we seen a Corey Heim win, so I just felt like this was the time to do it, especially riding the momentum from the Cup Series the week before that. Why not go out get it done? He didn't have a great qualifying run, so I was like, of course, the week I pick him to go out and do it, he does not a great qualifying run, but yeah, he charged through that field, and yeah, he's a threat. He's a very good race car driver.
Yeah, I mean, what does he say when he gets out of the truck? He says, it's definitely something to build on. You know, he won the race, and it's scary what they're setting up. If they're wanting to be better than that, they're not satisfied with winning. That's a scary prospect for the rest of the field. He took the lead in points this week. He only has 68 stage points. And there's some people in the 70s and 80s up there. Christian Eckes has 98 stage points. So that's an interesting thing. You may want to look for Corey Heim to start running up the front more and whatnot during the race, but he's obviously getting the finishes and stuff to put himself atop of the scoring charts here midway through the season.
Yeah. Corey Heim, man, yeah, this guy, he's a little bit of rough start to the season. A little bit, but man, this kid made his Cup Series debut, and I think, like you said,
Mhm.
this is just gonna be motivation for him to just drive better. He ran with the best of the best for the past 2 weeks, and man, it showed. He ran pretty well. So yeah, can't wait to see what he does for the rest of the season in the Truck Series. They did say Eric Jones will be back this weekend. I'm a little worried about him with his back because, like we were saying last week, back injuries, man, you get into one more wreck like that, it could really fuck you up for life. But we'll see.
Yeah, as for Eric Jones, I mean, with the situation, especially with the injury, you got to put him in a position now to win a race. He's not going to be getting points and whatnot. And two of his three career wins are at Darlington. So, as much as I hate this move, I do feel like it's rushed. It's the best move to get that 43 car in the playoffs. And who knows, maybe something happens. Not anything catastrophic, but even he tweaks it or something during the race again, he could sit out again
Right.
going
Yeah.
forward again. But yeah, Corey Heim, on the other hand, it's the time of the season. Doesn't matter how you start and whatnot. Especially in the Truck Series, the cream is going to rise to the top, and it's happening right now. With that 11 car finally hitting the first in points.
About time. So, guys, let's move
About Heim
over.
time.
What?
About Heim time. That's right. What's up, Nick?
Oh, we're not going to talk about Lane Riggs and Cam Waters getting into it post race.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The
oh my
guys that were
goodness.
battling for 18. Oh, my
Did you guys
God.
see what was happening on the track? I didn't really see. I just saw a video of them
I
fighting, but
wasn't. I
So
wasn't.
were they just
I don't
arguing
remember.
about real estate?
They were kind of bumping and banging on the backstretch. I can't remember
Mhm.
who started it, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just two guys you don't really see up there. They're just complaining about fighting for
Well, Cam Waters is trying to figure out the NASCAR realm. I'm sure Lane Riggs is not pleased with the season he's had to this point.
I was going to say, I'm
Where's that 38
disappointed.
truck been?
yeah,
They've been non-existent all year, which is
If
why
you
I'm
guys,
disappointed.
are you looking at the points right now? If you had to
No,
guess
I'm not.
where he is in points, where would you guess?
Lane Riggs.
One.
Now that you're saying, maybe I'll
He's driving the 38 FRM truck, by the way. This truck
yeah,
that
I
was
know.
dominating the past few years.
I know. I would say
Ooh,
probably 19th.
I go 22nd.
He's 22nd. Very
Damn.
good. But that is a wild, if you want to talk about to this point, the cream rise into the top, well, something's got to fall to the bottom. And that
Yeah.
38 truck needs help. And maybe Lane Riggs was not the
Yeah,
direction they needed to
well,
go after Zane Smith.
that's why I wanted to bring up that whole altercation. Is just to
Mhm.
talk about Lane Riggs. I'm disappointed in him. Well, I didn't really have too much high hopes. Like I said last year, he got the couple of college opportunities, and granted, the college Xfinity program is not it's not the best of the best, but it's still up there. And he did not make the most of that opportunity. And now he's down here in a truck that has literally whooped the entire field's ass the last couple of years when Zane Smith was down there in it. And now they're not even cracking like top 12 runs or anything like that. No top 5, no top 10. I don't know what his full stats are, but he's not running where that truck should be. So yeah, I was 100% going to say disappointed in this kid. Hope they can figure something out, but
Yeah.
we're getting to the danger zone for sure. And
You
if we're
can't
not already there,
you can't
Yeah.
call it growing pains if you're not even showing growth.
he's not
And
showing the growth.
that's tough. And it is his first year with the team, and we talk about you need some experience, you need some time to meld, but hopefully they can start turning stuff around. Obviously, I'm not ready to sell the guy out yet.
Nah.
But
Yeah, we know Front Row's
with
truck program has been great.
yeah, that truck program is strong, and you'd expect somebody else in that garage to step up. Obviously, the driver is the driver, and they get a lot of the flack, but something's got to change in that garage. They got to get better finishes.
Totally agree. So, guys, let's move over to Sunday.
Oh,
In my opinion, and I think millions of other NASCAR fans will agree with me, probably the best NASCAR race that we have seen in decades.
It topped the poll. Is it a good race poll? It was
Yep.
the best race in history
Was it like
of the poll.
96%?
95.5 or something. Yeah.
Fuck those 5%, man. What the hell? How do you say that is not a good
somebody had to be the
race?
douchebag. Somebody had to be the douchebag to
It
say,
was Chris
no, I'm
Buescher's
going to be
friends
the
and
one.
family. Chris
Dude,
Buescher was texting
I'm
all
a
his friends
Chris
and
Buescher
family
fan, and I thought that was
saying,
fucking cool.
yeah, but it's his
Well,
friends and
here's
family. He's like,
Yeah.
hey guys, there's this poll on Twitter. I really mind if you voted no. We can't have this race be the historic race because it'll remind me that I lost by a hair.
Well, before we
Oh,
really get into this, what I just want to say about this is the first time in a long time where we can say from start of the race to end of the race, this this was a fantastic race. Even the drivers, you had your driver, you got Kyle Larson saying this, you had Denny Hamlin saying this, you had all these guys saying this. That this from start to finish, this was amazing. Like we've seen good races in the past, but for me, what going into this race and going into mile and a half in the past, it's like usually it's going to get strung out somewhere in the middle of it. I didn't see that at all in this one. Watching from the grandstand,
There's
there is
battles all over the
always
place.
yep.
battles everywhere, and I don't know how the TV broadcast was, but there was literally battles all throughout the racetrack, and from start to finish, this was the greatest race that I have ever seen in person and at the fans.
TV focused on the front of the field,
Right.
but they were battling at the front of the field and whatnot. It's not like somebody checked out and the battles were for fifth,
Yeah.
sixth, seventh, eighth. Like they were change of positions, messing around all the way through runs. And it just made a really dynamic watching experience. And I honestly, again, Fox is Fox, but I think they did a good job of following the storylines throughout the race this week. And again, we have to give credit where it's due. I know Fox gets a lot of flack. And another thing people were complaining about Fox was that they gave no post race. The TV window was closed 4.5 hours before this race started.
Yeah.
So everybody's got to calm down, first of all, about like we were eating in. I'm sure there are a lot of MLS soccer fans. They kept mentioning throughout the whole race, like Mike Joy, every time they came back from commercial, were like, if you're looking for soccer, it's on FS2. So yeah, the no post race, you can't blame Fox for that. That's the TV business and whatnot. The race ran good on NASCAR, honestly, for having the contract saying we should preempt other sports on FS1. So, but I honestly thought the Fox broadcast was good. Obviously, you guys didn't. You guys could make your own storylines and follow the radio and whatnot when you were or just look at the track because I'm sure it was busy.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
There is so much going on, and it was just from start to finish. This was the most. This is the best, and this is the race I enjoyed the most going to. For sure.
Yep. This was the most entertained I've ever been. I was not for 1 point bored. There was not a
That's so
dull
good.
moment
It's
throughout
so
this
good to
whole
hear.
race. And you'll get those times where you just kind of like, look at just like one turn for a while or like look
yeah.
around. But dude, the whole time I was on the edge of my seat, just laser focused. Like this is just a fucking treat, man.
Well, when I was at Texas a couple weeks ago, stage 2 ended, and I was like, damn, we still got like 100 laps to go here. Like, and I'm sure you guys didn't have a feeling like that, but it's like, and that's what's so great about Kansas and whatnot. And that's what's so great about this race. It's like there's never a time where you're probably be like, oh, I'm gonna have to sit through a little bit more of this before I get to see the finish.
Well, it's just crazy. It was just crazy. You look away from 1 second, you might miss something. Like, we'll talk about it a little later. But when Denny Hamlin got out to a lead, I was like, all right, we're gonna check out here. Oh, there's that one car again. I turn away for 1 second. Oh, Ross Chastain's right back in there. Just man,
it seemed like you could. It seemed like you could get up close to the leader and go for the lead if you wanted to. But it almost like you cooked your tires, but you could lay back a little bit and regain some of that life in the tire and come back and give it another go, which usually with this car, it's not something we see. It's like they just string out and then they go away and you can't make a second attempt. But those second attempts at the passing and whatnot, and if somebody get past, they weren't arrow washed and whatnot. It was so dynamic to watch.
Yeah. It was the drivers did amazing. The cars were set up perfectly for this race. It was just absolutely perfect.
Yeah, well, there's the other thing. The race started basically when they were scheduled to end. So I'm sure a lot of the setups were bad to start off with, which was creating a big difference too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The cars weren't set to run this time of day whatsoever.
Yeah,
and it was chilly, right?
Yeah,
60s?
it was chilly the whole weekend.
Jackets were on.
Low 60s. Yeah, I mean the fans looked cold, but again, they were warm because they were up and down, jumping up so much.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But guys, let's get into this. Christopher Bell won the pole. He's pretty good at winning the poles here at Kansas. This was his, I believe, 3rd or 4th pole. Pretty damn good at it. And then guys, like we were talking about, started off with some rain, delayed the start of this race. But man, oh man, it was worth the wait for this one because we already had some hard fighting at the start of this one with Christopher Bell and Ross Chastain going at it. Our 2 front row leaders. Chastain and then Larson were going at it. Larson, oh man, he looked great throughout this coming up through the field. And then poor Jimmy Johnson, can't have a weekend without talking about him crashing. Got spun by the 7 of Corey LaJoie. And then Jimmy got out of his car and then just gave the 7 the biggest death stare in the world. He was just so furious. We know Johnson loves this track at Kansas Speedway. He gave the command to start the race. Petty was supposed to, but he had to go out for the Kyle Petty charity ride. So that was another cool thing to see. Was one of the greatest of all time give the command while he was sitting in his car about to go out.
Really
and race.
awkward on TV.
It
looked really strange. He's just like trying to shove a microphone up his helmet. But yeah, I mean, get the other owner, I guess. I don't know, the other part of the legacy.
Trevor Bayne.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, no, Fox. That's something Fox didn't show was why Jimmy checked up. They thought they saw it, but I guess he was checking up because he saw some cars get together and Corey LaJoie ran him over.
Yeah.
Tough for Jimmy because he had a decent qualifying run. He had a top 20 qualifying run. I was like, okay, maybe this is a race where he can consistently run top 20 right to the back. he just kept fading and fading and fading. And I was like, here we go again.
Yeah,
But
sucks to see for a guy like him. But once again, I don't think this is tarnishing a legacy for him. He's
No.
just
I don't
going
think he
out there and having
cares.
fun. No, he's going out there having
I don't
fun,
think
and
he
it's
cares.
paying the
Yeah.
bills because the sponsors want him to run.
Yeah, nobody's trashing Tiger Woods because he keeps playing and losing these golf tournaments anymore. Like Tiger Woods should
No
be able to
way.
play in these golf tournaments as long as he wants, and not have any effect on his legacy. The legacy there's an era and it has ended, and he's in the Hall of Fame, and his post Hall of Fame stuff should just be because he wants to do it. And
Exactly.
yeah, maybe when he's 95 and he's driving 16 miles an hour around the apron, then we'll talk about kicking him off the track. But until then, I mean, he can hang with the pack. What
Yeah.
more could you want?
It's just so tough because like pre-race they were showing like all the Kansas winners through the years, and you see Jimmy Johnson, Jimmy Johnson, Jimmy Johnson. Like,
Yeah.
Jimmy, what happened?
Where did the time
Yeah.
go?
Where
No,
did
it's
the
just
time
the
go?
thing that will hurt him is that all these new fans that we're bringing in hopefully are going to see this Jimmy Johnson and not understand the other Jimmy Johnson.
The
But they're
pain
like,
that we had to
what's
go
so
through for
special about
5
this
years
guy
in a row.
what's so special about this guy that's running last every week? Like, he can't be that great. But
No, he was pretty good.
yeah,
Pissed a
no,
lot of people
exactly.
off back in the day.
Exactly. You know what Max Verstappen's doing? That's what Jimmy did to us.
Yeah, no kidding. So guys, Denny Hamlin, he
Oh,
wins
yeah.
stage one, holds off the one of Ross
That's what I
Chastain.
was talking
Hell of
about.
a
Is
battle
like
with those guys, man.
they
Like
would
Ross
just
Back
would
and
just not
forth.
let him go.
It was back
they
and
would
forth.
not they would just not give an inch to each other. It was clean racing though. Like they didn't
Mhm.
made no contact with one another. It was just good hard racing. But literally, then he pulled out maybe a quarter of a straightaway lead, and I was like, all right, we're gonna settle in. Everything's good. Turned my head for 15 seconds. All of a sudden, here's that one car hauling ass on us again. Oh, what is going on here? But no, that was a fun battle. It was a fun battle. Great for Denny to get a stage one because we've been talking about it. He's either winning races, but it's time to start stacking up the points.
Needs the
Getting
points
his
for
nice
sure.
getting a stage win, that'll do it for you right there. So that was fun to watch.
Absolutely. Another fun thing to watch. How about Chris Buescher threading that needle to go 5 wide? This guy has had
That
the
happened right in
biggest
front of you
ball.
guys, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
did. That guy
I was like, you guys are
has
basically at start finish line. Holy cow.
Yep, that guy has the biggest balls this year. I swear he did it a few weeks ago. When he went 3 wide. I can't remember what track that was at, but man, he's just been hot on the track lately, just making some great moves,
Hmm.
and it's just so. I'm just so happy to finally see Chris Buescher up there competing for wins for the past couple years.
I wonder if he'll make a big balls move when it counts on the final lap. Maybe we'll come back to that.
Oh yeah, that was
But
that was
no, the
crazy to
five
see.
wide was nuts. I mean, they just tied each other up out on the exit of the corner, and all three of those guys were like, "This is my opportunity for the lead," and they all went for it.
Yeah, it was great.
Poor Ty
We had,
Gibbs is going to do the same thing, but the space between Bell and the wall was not as wide as a race car, so he had to
yeah.
check up. Man,
All right, Chris
man, man.
Buescher won stage two, and Noah Gragson beat Chase Elliott to the line. Photo finish for that final stage point.
Car.
Pretty damn cool to see. Noah running top 10 throughout this whole race.
Yeah,
This his third top 10 in a row. He's been looking fantastic, carrying Stewart
dude,
Haas
look
race.
at what's happened in the 10 car last couple of weeks. He's now sitting 20th in points. And just imagine if he didn't have that 35-point penalty. But at 10 car, he's been stacking those points. He's been having terrific runs the past few weeks. And he, like you said, he may have
Mhm.
ran 10 laps outside of the top 10 all day long. Like he was there. He was a contender all day long, and he's just been on a really good stretch of runs these past few weeks. Hope he can keep it up.
Yeah, I'm still not impressed by Stuart Haas as a whole, but they're
Mhm.
starting to qualify better. And Noah Gregson being a happy guy again and getting results is only going to make him better and build up that confidence and whatnot. And when he got that 35-point penalty, everybody's thinking, well, it's not going to matter anyways. It's Stuart Haas 10 car after all. It's not that strong. Well, look at him now. I mean, he's he's in a bubble spot for the playoffs right now, and those 35 points would help him a ton. So it's amazing how the narrative can change about a driver over the course of 365 days, and how he can really build himself up and really make a name for himself, just in the first part of the season.
Yeah. Really, really great to see it. Like we've been saying all season, none of us saw this coming with this team.
Did you get to chat with him a little bit when you met him at the merch hauler?
Oh yeah, dude. When we did
I
the
know you
meet
guys
and
go
greet,
back a little bit.
yeah, I went up to him and I was like, "What's up? What's up, dude?" And he was like, "Oh damn, how's it going, man?" And I was like, "He remembers me still. All
Yeah, well,
right."
not not too many people bring a whole bumper to a Wendy's, and
Yeah. This is
it's
very,
like,
very
if
true.
I'd be surprised if he didn't remember you. But yeah, no, that's another cool opportunity that you get to see him again, and
Oh yeah.
he's
Me, Nick, and
personable and ready
Pat
to
were
go. Yeah,
talking with him for a bit. He signed my metal Noah koozie, and yeah,
nice,
it was
excellent,
cool to just
awesome,
see the man before we went and saw the
awesome.
greatest race
Again,
ever.
go to a racetrack. If you haven't been to a racetrack and you're watching the show, maybe I'll go to a racetrack. Stop hemming and hawing. Just go
Yeah.
out there. It's fun. You'll meet people.
You don't get this kind of experience with any other sport.
No,
Like you don't get to meet Aaron Judge before a goddamn Yankees game. Like,
no, you don't go to the merch stand and buy a hat and it's Aaron Judge checking out your credit
yeah,
card there. Like, no, it's just not how it goes.
yeah, exactly. That's why NASCAR is
Mhm.
the best.
It's fantastic.
But guys, Busher won stage two, and then he got served with a
Oof.
pit penalty.
Oof.
Guys over the wall too soon, and they left the tear off on the back of the car as well. So not a good look for the 17, but he was able to
Good.
just
Yep.
fly through that field and come back up into that top five.
Yeah, that's who I was surprised. I thought that was nail in the coffin for his day right there because a guy who started in the back and really made no headway was William Byron. I was kind of surprised about that. I was looking forward to see him march through the field a little bit. Just seemed like he could just never really get up there. So I thought Busher was going to meet that same fate, but we were proved wrong.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
it was a bright spot for Ford. They weren't doing so well. I watched the first half of the race live, and then I watched the second half of the race after work. And while I was at work, I got a text from that friend I went to the Texas race with, and she was like, "What are all the Fords doing in the back?" And I was like, "I don't know. It could be a strategy thing." And then I watched the race. I was like, "Oh no, it's just not. They're just they're just slow." So again, Chris Buescher being able to run back up there and overcoming adversity, um, with that bad little pit stop at the end of stage two, it's really strong and it's good news. Um, and again, you think about eventually how this race finishes. Now Ford's finishing second twice in a finish like that
Yes.
season in
Oh,
the Cup Series, and they lost to that one in Texas too. Um,
yeah.
so tough, 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 tough.
Yep. So more bad luck for Ford. Harrison Burton spins. That's kind of a
That's the
scheduled mention
weekly,
right
the
there.
weekly.
Yeah.
That started the madhouse though.
Yes, it did. This is where caution started breeding cautions. We had the Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, Austin Cindric wreck. Really, man, the 2311 cars didn't really show up all day either. Um, really sucks to see for them. Kyle
But
Busch.
this whole sequence of these restarting and then caution 2 laps later, it really created the intriguing pit strategy that we saw that made the dynamic story for all of stage three, um, which was really fantastic to watch. You're like, are they going to make it on fuel? Are they gonna who's coming for tires when they came for tires? Some came a little early thinking that they'd get more cautions, and it created a really dynamic viewing experience at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this really let up. Like me and Nick were like, man, is Denny gonna run out of fuel here? Like, does he have
Yeah.
enough to
Well,
go?
I
And
just kept what I tried doing at the track was I tried listening to the scanner from the NASCAR app. Could not hear shit. I
Mm.
brought my AirPods with me. Could not hear shit. So that was a massive flop. So I just turned all the notifications on that I could for my Bob Procris and everyone. I was like, and like every couple minutes he kept updating about the Hamlin fuel situation. I was like, oh man, I don't know. It's either we got this or we do or we're gonna like run out with one to go. It would have been really close had that have played out.
Yeah,
yeah,
and the TV did a great job once they caught on to what was going on, that they were hearing about fuel saving with the 11 and the 17 and the 5. Um, they did a really good job about monitoring the lap times and showing how much slower, showing throttle traces, to kind of show how much they were saving. And then Martin Truex Jr.
Yes,
had
that's
enough
it.
who had enough gas was
Well,
flying in there at the end. And
that's
it's
the
that
thing.
was a
Yeah,
disappointment for Martin Truex that he doesn't end up being able to see this race out to the end, because
that's the
he was
thing.
going to push those guys out of fuel or just pass them on speed.
Yep.
See, I really think if that race would have stayed green on that in that last little stretch, I think that Truex would have gotten it because he was just hauling ass and he
Yeah.
had enough to go. I think he would have gotten us. But man,
Denny
that
claimed
was
on the podcast that he thought he had saved enough to go when Truex came up to him. But I just, with how early they pitted, I think that's Denny just being Denny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Truex gets up there and Denny gives him a fight, but 2-3 laps to go, Denny's out and Truex
yeah.
is gone. Yeah, there was a really interesting thing to watch develop and whatnot.
Yeah. All the strategies were coming into play,
Mhm.
but that did not matter because we had the number 8 of Kyle Busch spinning out in turn 2, which brings us to NASCAR
Ugh.
overtime. Another bad week for actually, man,
Look,
I can't
yeah,
even
I
say
wouldn't say that. I
Well,
wouldn't say that.
he comes from what
well,
20th to 8th in the final restart. What a freaking baller, man!
Yep.
That was amazing,
Yep.
but
Yep.
really
Again,
helped him
if that
out.
was a 3-lap shootout, Kyle's in the top 5 and Truex is coming across the line a second ahead of everybody.
Yeah.
Just with how the tires worked. But again, stage 1, Kyle finishes 8th. Stage 2, Kyle finishes 4th. And for the race, Kyle finished 8th. So again, another normal week.
Yeah, I mean,
It
not
sure
bad.
helps. He still dropped a place in the points to 12th. But things are looking more okay. I'm less doomsday about Kyle's season right now. So maybe this will culminate in a good old Coke 600 win.
Hey, we'll see.
Maybe. I've seen my guy win in
Why
person
not?
before. Might do it again.
Yeah,
Why not?
RCR did it a
I
few
think I
years
would
ago.
pass away. I think I would pass away. I think I'd die. And I'd
Have you
be
ever seen Kyle
100%.
win in person?
Yeah, I was at 2018 Chicagoland.
Okay, all right, there
Yeah.
you go.
Oh,
There
yeah.
you go.
Hell yeah. That was the best when that Twitter thing went viral this week about like your first race you watched, your first race you went to, your favorite race. I had a really hard time picking between 2018 Chicagoland and the street race. But ultimately I picked the
Oh
street
yeah.
race. The whole vibe of the street race was so much better than Chicagoland. But anyway, that's not important right now.
Yeah,
Back
me
to
and Nick
this
were
restart.
saying like slide job was cool, but
Oh, slide job's so
this
cool.
was this was way
This
cooler.
should take the cake for
Blows it out of the
sure.
water. This
Yeah,
is
this
blew it
makes
out of the
this
water.
makes slide job look like shit, guys, because
You know who should have
come
pulled a slide job?
yeah. Oh well.
It's-
Guys, this NASCAR overtime was absolutely incredible. Chris Buescher and Kyle Larson were going at it these final 2 laps. Chris Buescher goes high up in the track and turns 3 and 4. Larson, he was already committed to riding the wall there. He still does not
What
touch
I'm
it.
saying, Busher needs to stay in front of it. We talked all last week
Yep.
about how aero blocking plays such a huge role in these. Just stay in front of him. Why give him a lane? I'm dumbfounded. Ford has the win.
Of all the drivers you're going to give the top of the racetrack to, the best in the business at doing it, you're going to give it to fucking Kyle Larson. Once that happened, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But hey, Buescher held his ground. But kudos to Kyle Larson for not fencing that thing. He was right up there.
Yeah.
We've seen it
I
before.
feel like any other driver would have fenced it.
We've seen it before, but it's just Kyle Larson's just so damn good at running that high line. And just from there to the finish. Oh.
Yeah.
Just a masterpiece. 0.001 seconds, the closest finish.
I bet it was closer. I bet it was closer to 0.001, but the photo has to round up to something.
Because they look absolutely
hold on. Did you
tied.
guys know? Did you guys know they shared this one on TV? I don't know if you heard this one. This was the closest finish at Kansas Speedway. Now hold on. That was if you took Chris Buescher and Chase Elliott out and the finish was between Larson and Truex, would have been the closest finish in Kansas Speedway history.
No
You
way.
had 4 cars in there that have so yeah, that was insane. Kudos to Chris Buescher coming off of 4 for not losing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Larson door slammed it, nothing against that move.
He slammed him twice too.
That is quintessential stock car racing. That's fine. I'm okay with it. But Chris Buescher, with how squirrely these cars can get, I'm surprised he didn't lose his shit. So
He handled
or
it
it just he hung on there
I
and
just
stuck to him.
and just
I just
led.
remember being me and Ian were like, "Holy shit, did Busher just win?" Because we thought Chris Busher won that
Well, the
race, and
pylon said the 17, right?
Yep, yep.
yeah. So we're like dabbing each other up, and then they start showing the replay, and I'm just like, "Oh shit,"
Hmm.
because then you see the 5 just barely inch
Yeah.
there. But all I said was, "Well, I don't like the guy, but." Geez, my God, that was
Well, he's
the
an
greatest
alien.
finish I've ever seen. That was
Yeah.
the best race that I've ever seen,
Hmm.
and oh my goodness,
It's gonna be hard to top this one. I still can't believe it took 23 years to beat that record from Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch. And man, the damnedest thing about these two records is RFK lost in both of them.
I will say
uh,
if we're talking about greatest races, this goes up there. If we're talking about greatest finishes, I still think the Ricky Craven Kurt Busch finish is better than this one because you didn't stack the whole field up. It's just these two guys ended up coming together after a long run.
Yeah.
But again, there's also this discourse on Twitter. It's like anytime NASCAR fans have something cool, they always turn back to nostalgia instead, which it's not what I'm doing. But if you're looking at them face to face, the Craven Kurt Busch one was a better finish if you want that organic true race finish. But like this was still incredible to see these guys put it on the line and do it cleanly. It's one thing for Larson to drive through Busher and go get this, or it's one thing for Busher to close the door, put in the fence, and Truex comes around the bottom and wins third or fourth, and wins from third or fourth. But the fact that they kept it clean, almost everybody kept it clean over the line, besides Austin Dillon. Didn't see any of that. No mention. Mike Joy made a mention of that. They're like, and somebody's spinning through the grass.
Dude, honestly,
And then
I
they got
didn't
off the
even
air.
realize until
But
like the race was
yeah,
over. I was like, oh, Dylan spun at
yeah,
the end.
yeah, exactly. No, Hyman Dillon spun. Bubba kind of threaded the needle. That was a really cool view from his car.
Yeah.
But this race was just so incredible, and even a lot of the times you see like a race come down to this before the Kyle spin, and it gets ruined by a green white checkered.
right.
I still think we would have seen a great finish to this race
Oh yeah, it would
without
have
the green
been
white checkered,
Truex. It
but
would have
this
been
green white
Truex and
checkered
Hamlin.
was incredible too. So
Yeah,
no notes, 100% from me. Fantastic race.
it's
Yeah.
what we love to see. But
Mhm.
yeah, just thinking about it, just going back, like Chris, just take his line away. I don't think
Yeah.
I really think if he
For
just
all
stayed
the
up
discussion we
there,
had about aero blocking, I
stay
don't
up
understand why you
there,
don't just get in front of him.
make him pass you on the
That's
bottom.
Yeah, it was
that's just
weird.
the high pressure, man.
I just think
You're
I don't
racing
think
with
he
one of
was
the
really.
best.
I don't think he was really thinking
Yeah.
about that in the heat of the moment. He wasn't
Mhm.
thinking about, oh yeah, I gotta take his line. No, it's just heat of the moment. But damn, what a finish!
Man,
And
Real easy for us
he'll
to
held
sit
when,
sitting on
on.
our computers
yeah, oh
on a
yeah,
Tuesday saying this
Yeah.
stuff, but yeah,
Holy
oh my
shit.
goodness.
it's the way
I
you want
will
to see.
I'm gonna be talking about this for the rest of my life. Every time I see a NASCAR fan, I was like, I was at the Kansas race, the closest
Yeah,
finish in NASCAR history. Like oh man,
right?
like me and Nick, like we
Well, that
had
was even the
smiles on our
cooler.
faces till we went to sleep at the hotel. Like
That
it
was
was
the cooler part. Is that once all that's going on, and then all of a sudden you get the notification like 0.0001, and then you realize you were just
Yeah.
at the closest finish in NASCAR history. That just put the icing on the cake. And like I said, I don't even give a shit if it was Kyle Larson. Fuck, it could have
Right.
been Chase Elliott, and
Well,
I
and
would not have
it was
cared.
cool to see Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson doesn't get overexcited a lot, and
Oh,
to
he's
see
just
Kyle
pumped.
Larson fist pumping coming around the crowd and whatnot. It's
He
cool.
was
It's
like,
like
"Holy
this
shit, I
matters
just
to
won
these
this!"
guys.
yeah.
This matters to these guys, and they know it matters.
While he was doing
I
that,
had
me, Nick, and Patrick, we were telling him that he was number one. Probably the only ones in the crowd doing it.
Well,
but no, even his radio, when he didn't even know he won the race, he was
you see
like,
do you guys
"Oh,
see the
he's
video of
like."
Cliff Daniels
Yeah, yeah.
where he finds out he's like,
What?
it's just
But
an excellent
even
Cliff Daniels
it's
face.
just
I
even
think this is
Larson's
just one.
radio. His
Yeah.
radio was just like, "Oh,
Mhm.
that was awesome." He didn't even know if he
Yeah.
got. He at first he didn't think he got. He was like, "I don't even care either way."
Uh,
Like that. That was awesome.
all right, you
That's what you
guys were
love to
there.
see.
Do you have an opinion on the state of the start finish line? Did you guys
Honestly,
inspect it? Did you
Doesn't
walk down there?
matter.
Did you see how crooked it was? Do you care that it
No,
was crooked?
nope.
Or do
I
you
don't care
understand
one
that
bit
there's better
because
technology and timing and scoring
yeah,
to
it doesn't
figure out
fucking
these
matter one
finishes?
bit. People are bitching about the line being
Jeez.
faded on the bottom. That's not even the line right there. So what the hell are we talking about
Yeah,
here?
no, that didn't phase me
Cracks
one
me up.
bit.
No, no, the
Cracks me
It
up.
was
They're
just
whole
like, the
finish
line's not
line
straight. I'd
thing,
be
like,
like, you think we still use a line?
no, guys, it's just the tinfoil NASCAR hat
Mm-hmm.
fans coming through to just find something to bitch about when we just saw
I mean,
the absolute
Dude,
even
best.
well,
even Denny on
even
his podcast saying we need to get better cameras technology. I was like, that camera shot, that picture we saw with the two lines painted on it, the
Yeah.
official picture, that uses, from what Jeff Gluck said, like 6,000 to 8,000 frames per second. You don't get much of a better camera than that.
No.
It's not about the camera quality, it's about getting the right winner for
Yeah.
this exact situation. What do you mean we need a better camera? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't
Don't say
matter.
that. Denny had
Uh,
I didn't like Denny's podcast this week. It was a lot woe is me, and less about the
when
race
he
and
flopped,
everything.
he
Yeah.
Yeah.
choked on that final restart. He comes out
Yeah.
first, and Larson
That was
pulls the maneuver
Split it
that
up in
the
the
beat him
turn
interesting
three.
inside.
discussion about him choosing a lane on that final restart, but I guess vegetables wasn't good for Denny. Do you hear that was his
Yeah, it
that
is.
was his code word at the end was
Yeah.
vegetables, and
As
Denny just
good
goes, ugh,
as much as that sucked, seeing
yeah.
him go from first to fifth on the final restart. Obviously, I would have loved to have seen him win,
Mhm.
but as what we talked about is he needed to start stacking up some points here,
Right.
and he did it. He did it today. He got
Again,
top five
this
finish in the stage one. That's gonna help you.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yep.
better than wrecking your car and finishing 28th last on the lead lap coming around the
Yeah.
final turn. So Denny has something to learn from that one. Chase Elliott, again, another silent running at the front. He's third
Yeah,
in points
he
right
was
now,
there.
guys. He's
Yeah.
He was there.
stacking up the point. They didn't mention Chase all race, and he's there in every stage. He's 11th in stage 2. He's 10th in stage 1. Like, he's just lurking, making that car better and getting what he can out of it. Really solid. And Christopher Bell also needed a good day. Didn't need anything to happen to him, and he got a 6th place finish out of this
Yeah.
one. So
Thank God for that
All-
20 team.
he jumped
needed
4 points,
Man.
4 places in the points this week, according to NASCAR.com here.
Yeah.
So
But poor Bubba
needed a
Wallace,
day.
man.
Mm.
3 races in a
I
row
was-
where he gets into a wreck. It's
Right.
just it has not
I'm
been a
just
good run for that 23
disappointed.
team.
They were fast in practice. Both 2311 cars were fast in practice. They qualified not great, and then they just struggled. Tyler got up there a couple
He
of
showed
times,
up in
but he
the
didn't
top
get
10,
up
man.
there. He didn't get up there. But Bubba Wallace
Mhm.
just did not have the car, and I wonder how much of that has to go with this race starting when it should have ended with the
Yeah,
handling
maybe.
and everything. Maybe something they missed there.
They could
but
have that
I
tuned
was
for the midday.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed. I was really looking forward to seeing the 23 climb up there, and it
He
just
was never there. 18th, 17th, and 17th for the
like
ends of
they
each stage.
tried
So
they tried the strategy of staying out, and it just it
Mhm.
didn't work for him. He just
well, and
faded
you wonder
really quickly.
how getting caught up in that wreck in stage 3 helped to hurt him. But again, Michael McDowell was probably in worse shape from that wreck, and he finished 10th. So
Yeah.
real tough, real tough.
And
Yeah.
isn't it just crazy that nowadays, post race, we're hearing Kyle Larson advocating for more mile and a half racetracks. Where a few years ago we were saying get rid of these things. We want more. So this still it does not solve the issue with this car. The
No.
finishes that we get here, it does not. And I don't want NASCAR to think that that's what that this is doing right
But
there.
if you ran a
Because we still-
2006 schedule, if you ran the 2006 schedule, this season would be fantastic.
Absolutely, but
We wouldn't have
no,
the highs and lows that we've had.
no. But it doesn't solve that problem. But I am advocating for more mile and a half racetracks too.
Chicagoland Speedway.
Yeah.
Literally,
At least a
I
little track
just
in
don't-
Speedway.
Central Illinois, yeah.
How do you not just look at this car that is literally
Mhm.
built for these kind of races, this kind of track? Like Kansas is the sister track to Chicagoland Speedway. You don't think if you think what we see at Kansas plus Chicagoland, they're not going to do the same thing? It's man.
Unfortunately, it's 40 degrees and snowing in November in Kansas, so we can't have our championship race here.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
This would be
I
an
was joking about that
incredible
after the race. Like, why can
championship
we not
race.
just run a
Which is
title
why
race
we need to
here?
go back to Miami. But
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
'cause it's
I'm
been a
bold.
banger
Yeah.
there too.
The
But
mile and a
guys,
half they've just hit, and we need more of them. And
right.
I can't. I really hope that this opens some eyes to bring back Chicago in. Fuck it. At this point, why not give Kentucky another go around? See what they do. Who knows?
I'm curious to see how Indianapolis will go in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Will this race more like our flat short tracks, or will it race more like this 1.5 miles, or will it be kind of between? I'm hoping it'll be good, but I'm have a feeling it's, when you think about it, Indianapolis only like a 1.5, 2-lane racetrack, so we won't get the ability to spread out, and which is what these cars don't like. So I'm thinking more and more this thing will be a dud, unfortunately.
I mean,
It'll just be cool to see it
it's
back on
just
the
so
oval.
unknown
Oh,
right
for
now.
sure,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
the Indy road course, it was cool for the first year, but then it really
Mhm.
it just got old the second
But these
season.
cars
But
belong on ovals.
yep, and
Yes.
if you're going to Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you have to run the historic Brickyard Oval. That is not a question. It
For
doesn't
sure.
matter if it's good racing or bad racing. It's just history right there.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're gonna end it here. But man, what a
Could talk about this
hell!
for hours.
Yeah, I really could. This was the best race weekend ever. Nick, I'm glad I
Yeah.
got to spend it with you, buddy. I'm glad Patrick got to come up there with us too. Man, oh
Seriously,
man.
congrats
This
on being
was
there, man.
just-
That's 1 in a billion for you guys to witness that, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy you got. And I got the invite, guys, and I turned them down. I said I can't. I'm busy. Got to work.
Damn
Shoulda
shame, man.
shoulda not done that. Oh well.
Just
No,
more
this
reason
is-
to come to races with us, right,
Yeah,
Tom?
right. See some
This-
cool stuff when you come to races with the spectacle guys.
Yeah, hey,
This
we saw
was
a
one-
photo finish at Talladega, even though
Mhm.
Kevin Harvick got disqualified, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I did go see a race with you at 2018. I just didn't know I was with you guys. So
Yeah, right. Exactly.
This is one that this weekend is just
Yeah.
one I don't think I can ever forget. I mean, just
No.
the whole aspect of being there for it, like having to process what we just saw, what those two coming to the line, you just didn't know, and oh man, so I love the sport. You don't get that
Alright.
anywhere else.
How about the Wi-Fi at the track? That was the best
Yeah,
track
you want to
Wi-Fi
talk
I've ever
about
had.
yeah. Going back to the top-notch facility, the
Oh,
Kansas
man.
Speedway, the Wi-Fi there, oh my goodness. I was able to keep up with the app of what was going on. I was able to get the notifications from Bob. Like, I didn't get that. I was able to send
I'm sure that was helpful in the
text
rain too,
Oh yeah.
where you're at the track, because it's, God forbid, it's raining at Texas. I can't get service, can't get Wi-Fi at the track, and it's raining, and I don't want to leave. I won't know when the race is
Yeah.
going to start. Like, damn.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
that's got to be a hella win.
We were blessed with the
Top-notch.
Wi-Fi, but then when we went back to our hotel, dog shit service couldn't get anything on there. It was hilarious.
Of course,
But-
of course, but yeah.
Shows you got to stay at the track, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to get a camping spot and a big old camper next year and go spend the weekend.
Oh.
One day we'll do the campers again.
Hey, if
But
I win the
guys-
lottery, we're camping at every track. We're doing the tour.
Oh, sounds good to me.
that was our
Yeah.
dream.
I'll
Hey,
buy
we've been
I'll buy a
talking
big
about
old
this.
tour bus. We'll all share it. Hell, I'll buy 2. It's the lottery, for goodness sake.
Hell yeah. We're
We'll
gonna have a
get
whole
2 spots.
studio in there
Yeah.
too.
It'll be great. It'll be
Absolutely.
stock car spec on the road.
Let's make it happen one
Let's
day.
do it.
Let's get the scratch offs now. All right. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a great spot to end. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed that Kansas race.
How
It
could you
was
not? How could you not?
Absolutely amazing. And if you guys enjoyed the show, make sure to drop us a like, subscribe to our show, and make sure to check us out on all social media platforms. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson,
I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Tom Hoblet.
and we'll see you guys next time. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinzel.
I'm Tom Hoblet.
And we got Darlington coming up this weekend. It is finally NASCAR Throwback Week, one of my favorite weekends of the year. We get to see all those beautiful throwback paint schemes. And man, we got a lot of them this year. A lot of good ones coming from the Hendrick Motorsports stable. Really cool looking one for Ross Chastain with that old school bush light scheme with the mountains on there.
Oh, they just announced Shane Van Gisbergen's
Yeah,
throwback.
I
He's doing a
saw that.
Marcus Ambrose throwback, which is really cool
Beautiful.
and kind of plays homage to the old supercar invasion that we saw a few years back with Marcus. So that's a cool cool tribute to see there.
Yep, that was spot on. What a beautiful scheme. But guys, we got all 3 series this weekend running. I'd love to see that. Both trucks and Xfinity are 200-mile races, which is a little rare to see, but either way, we're getting some racing this weekend, guys. It's Mother's Day weekend, so we start off with the truck series. We got the Buckle Up South Carolina 200-mile race, 147 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 45 laps each, and the final will be 57. Last year's winner was Christian Eckes. And some notables in this one, Kyle Busch is back in that 7 truck for Spire Motorsports, and Ross Chastain will be in that 45 for Nice. So Tom, we'll start off with you. Why is it Rowdy? I don't even know why I gotta ask you who you're picking.
We're gonna get to win. We're gonna race. We're gonna win, and we're gonna bow this weekend, at least in the trucks. I'll point to the flow chart. I'm picking Rowdy because still those Spire Chevys are so fast, and this is a racetrack you need experience. And Kyle has a lot of experience and a lot of experience winning. He's won a lot more races than these guys have even started. Most of these guys. So I just think if Rowdy's running a truck, you gotta think he's a threat. And I get to pick Rowdy this week because I'm wearing my KBM shirt.
There you go, man.
Those are the rules on SCS for now. So
All right, Nico, who you got for Friday night?
I'm gonna go with a guy who's good for about 1 to 2 wins a year, and a few years back, his 1 to 2 wins a year came at this racetrack. I'm gonna go with the 99 of Ben Rhodes, 2-time champ in this series. And the story with Ben Rhodes, it's just the speed. Just for the past couple of years, it just doesn't seem to be there. But he's just consistent. But this was a good racetrack for him a few years back when he went to Victory Lane. So I'm just gonna get a little weird with it. I think he's due for one of those 1 to 2 wins a year. And yeah, give me the 99. Give me Ben Rhodes to kind of shock the field here a little bit and go to Victory Lane at Darlington.
Ford's got to break the barrier somehow here and get a win.
Somehow,
And,
why
Yep.
not?
Thorsport is one of those teams where they seem to be a juggernaut of the truck series just because they've always been here and whatnot. But again, their performance has not been great of late, and
No.
even over the past couple of years. But again, we say that, and they won a championship, so
Yeah.
they know how to get it done. And again, if you're thinking experience, you want an experienced race team that can set up a truck. So I think that's a great pick.
Absolutely, guys. I'm kind of on the right page with you. Experience takes you to victory lane for this track, and I gotta go with the Melon Man of Ross Chastain stepping into that 45 of Nice. Um, Man, Leland Honeycutt looked really good in that Spire truck last weekend. Almost got his first win, and we know every time Ross Chastain comes in here, he just drives the wheels off of those things. So I think he's really gonna be probably the only guy that's gonna give Kyle Busch a run for his money here, because when Kyle steps into these trucks, he pulls away. He's too damn good,
Maybe
especially for a track like this.
Mhm.
A lot of these young guys are gonna have a lot of difficulty trying to tame the Lady in Black, but I do think that the Melon Man, and he's just really really good here, and he'll definitely give Kyle a run for his money. But I still think there's no stopping Kyle Busch. He's the goat.
maybe
I don't
maybe a
know.
little.
I mean, Raja beat Kyle in Vegas, didn't he?
He did.
He
That's
did.
very
And
true. That's a big win.
but again, if anybody's going to get more out of their truck than it's Ross Chastain because he's done it his whole
Oh,
career.
okay.
He gets more out of those cars than they're worth. So that's also an excellent pick and whatnot. But again,
Maybe a little.
don't sleep on your Corey Himes and your Christian Eckeses
Oh
either.
no.
Yeah,
They are experienced truckers and they are sitting 1-2 in points for a reason.
maybe a
that is
little
for sure.
maybe a little redemption at the wheel for Mr. Ross Chastain.
Oh, Vince.
Uh,
All right, guys. So moving on to Saturday for the Xfinity Series, we got the Crown Royal 200-mile race, 147 laps. Stages 1 and 2 are 45 laps each, and the final will be 57. Last year's winner was Denny Hamlin when he usually makes his 1 year run going into the Xfinity Series. Not doing it this year, a little bit
I was a little
surprised.
sad to see
But
that.
JGR is pretty stacked up with their lineup coming in with all their drivers. Speaking of which, some notables coming in here. William Byron, he'll be in that 17 for Hendrick Motorsports. Taylor Gray will be back in there for the 19 for Joe Gibbs. Eric Almirola in the 20 for Joe Gibbs. John Hunter Nemechek will be in that 26 for Sam Hunt Racing. And Carson Kvapil making his third career start here at Darlington. Looked great his past two races, almost won at Dover a few weeks ago. So that's why I'll go first. Carson Kvapil, kid has been absolutely incredible. I really hope that he can show out here and just keep showing that he's got the talent and that keep giving Dale Jr. Reasons why that he should sign him for a full-time ride next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's found his way to the front in both the races he's run at difficult racetracks. I think that one personally, I think that's a little bit more of a stretch at a place like this. But again, he's surprised me before, so
Yeah.
still not a bad pick. He knows how to wheel a car for sure. And a low grip, fast oval might be up his alley. Who knows?
Who knows? So Tom, who do you got on Saturday?
Oh man, this is tough. I mean, this field is stacked and whatnot, and William Byron is really scary when he comes to this racetrack. I mean, over the past few years, and I was thinking around, honestly, in our little pre-show debrief, I missed that you said Byron was in this race. So I'm gonna change it up on you guys. I gotta go with the 17, as long as they don't have something mechanical happen, because it's we kind of saw that with this car coming out every so often. We don't know. Yes, it's Hendrick built, but it may not always. You may not get all the gremlins out of it just because it doesn't run very often. So it's. But
Right.
I think William Byron on this track in a Hendrick car is scary, and so I think realistically that's who I got to go with.
Yeah, not bad at all.
I'm gonna go with the guy that got handed defeat by that 17 Xfinity car a few years back. I am going to go with the 18 of Sheldon Creed. I talked about it all year how Sheldon Creed has not been showing up for Gibbs while his other teammates are going out there winning races, running top five. But it's a good racetrack for Sheldon. I feel confident this go around with him with Gibbs. It's time to go show up, and what better way to do it? I think it'll be. I think it's going to come down to him versus 17 again, and I don't think he's going to lose this time. Give me the 18 of Sheldon Creed to finally get that first career victory. Because what's he sitting at? He's sitting at 9 runner-up finishes right now. I think the next one ties Daniel Hemrick and Dale Jarrett or something like that. I don't think it's going to get there for him.
I know
so
he's sitting 8th in points, and a win would make that feel a lot more comfortable.
Oh, absolutely.
And you talk about his
Yeah.
teammates. I was surprised when I just opened up this points list that the 81 is the points leader.
Yeah.
And I think the 81 would be another excellent pick for this weekend to
Yeah.
watch out for.
Chandler's
Maybe a
just been
dark horse,
incredible.
but I mean, he's run well here in the past. Even in a colleague car, I'm pretty sure he ran well here last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's somebody we got to look out for.
Yeah, Chandler has just been a stud ever since he broke his colleague contract and came over to Joe Gibbs Racing.
Best
That was the
decision he could
smartest
ever
decision.
make.
Yeah, best decision he has ever made. No regrets right there.
Right.
He's got 2 wins this year already?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
2. But Nick, I think Sheldon's a great pick, but still less great because until he actually pulls it off, it's like
keep picking the guy.
We're just going to keep getting disappointed. You pick him and you're like, oh shoot. Well, but yeah, I still think again in a Joe Gibbs car, you should be up front trying to win here.
Oh
a car that dominates his track with. I know it's Denny Hamlin, but whenever he comes down here, that Gibbs car, oh man, dominates
for sure.
Yep. All right, guys. So let's move over to Sunday for the Goodyear 400 NASCAR's throwback race. 400 miles, 293 laps. Stage 1 is 90. Stage 2 will be 95 laps. And the final will be 108. Last year's winner was William Byron in that 24 car. And throughout the years for the Goodyear 400, most manufacturer wins, Ford has come on top with 19 wins. So, Nick, we're going to start off with you, buddy, for Sunday. Who do you got winning NASCAR's throwback race on Sunday?
Well, I have to take the 19 car. I think, of course, I would love to pick Denny Hamlin at arguably one of his best racetracks. But I picked him last week, so I'm not going to pick him again, even though I do think he's going to get up there, and I think he's going to lead for his 14th straight race in a row. He's coming for that Kyle Busch record right there.
Denny Hamlin will
He's
be
gonna,
up to 17 this week if he leads.
oh, it'll be 17. What's
17.
Kyle's record? What is Kyle's record?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure the record is like 22 races though.
Is it something like
Okay.
that?
But I don't know if that's Kyle's record.
Because I don't know what it was either, but Denny's going to be fast again this weekend. I mean, I just expect it from him at this point, but I'm not. I'm just going to switch things up. I'm going to go with the 19 car, who kind of doesn't need a win, but could definitely benefit from one. They've had so many struggles on pit road this year. It just seems like him and James Small have not been hitting on these late race pit calls. I mean, we can go last week at Kansas. Yeah, he took the 4 tires and he still finished 4th in the race or whatever it was. But man.
I mean, he was coming before that caution came out. So
yeah,
like you could argue that Martin Truex was going to win this one. You could argue he was going to win Richmond. Like he's
it's just the
got
story
that
of
winning
it.
quality in there, and
they just can't put it together.
But he's sitting second in points, so like
and
it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So like I think it's an excellent pick.
Yeah,
it's crazy that they just can't get it together on pit road. He's still second in point. At some point, this has to go right for them on pit road. As a very good track for Truex, and I think this is where he's finally going to break through, get that first win of the season.
Martin Truex is such an enigma because he doesn't win all that often, and yet he's consistently up there. I mean, he missed the playoffs the first year of the next gen because everybody was winning and he couldn't pull one out, but he was still sitting like second in points at that point. So yeah, Martin, he doesn't have to win to be effective in this series, but winning with the way we treat winning is important.
Well, the scary thing is I think once Martin gets one, I think that's it seems how it goes for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
Once you get that first one, things are going to start to come to you a little bit easier. So I think it's finally time for him to break through this season. They're finally going to have a race that is complete on pit road and everything. Give me the 19 car to go to victory lane at Darlington.
All right. Yeah, pretty good pick here. He knows how to win here at Darlington. So Tom, who do you got on Sunday, buddy?
Well, I'm going to have to go with Texas Terry Labonte. Wait. No, that's not Texas Terry Labonte. That's Kyle Larson in a Terry Labonte throwback. I'm going to be the opposite of Nick. I picked Kyle Larson last week, and I'm going to keep it rolling. We talked about it at the end of last episode, how this guy rips the top and is so confident what his car can do inches from the wall. That's what you got to do to get the speed here at the track. And I just think with the hype that all of Hendrick has built up to that, starting with the reveal of that car, really, I think this weekend's built, unfortunately for us non-Hendrick fans, it's built for Kyle Larson.
Yep.
He's just too good. He's just too damn good.
He's an alien, and he's got momentum.
This track just suits him so well because this track is literally you got to run the fence here if you want to be fast. And oh man, I'm not ready for it. I'm just not.
I'm really picking low hanging fruit this week, guys, with Kyle Busch, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. I am really making it hard on you guys. So sorry about that.
All good, buddy. But I am not going for a low hanging fruit here. We haven't really seen Ford perform much. Oh man, they have been so close to getting that first win. 0.003 seconds at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 0.001 seconds this past weekend at Kansas. So close for them dark horses to go to victory lane for the first time. But I think it's going to happen this weekend with a guy who's just driving mad. He was so close to getting that first win. Christopher Buescher in that 17 ride. From Prosper, Texas. Don't forget it. Population 30,000. Ford has 19 wins here in the Goodyear 400. And man, like I just said, my only reason for Chris Buescher to get this win, he's driving angry, and he's just going to be motivated to go and get that first win for Ford this year and his first win of the
Yeah,
season, lock
why
himself into
not?
the playoffs. Him and Noah Gregson and Ryan Blaney,
Mhm.
those have been the guys that have been showing a little bit of light for
The
Ford,
leaders of their
and
teams for sure.
yep, they have been absolutely incredible. So hopefully, as a Ford fan for a very, very long time, I want to see them go to victory lane this weekend.
Ford's
Yeah,
down bad. They need
Yeah.
yeah.
it.
For
They need something good to happen.
I was almost going to say two dark horse picks of mine are the 14 car of Chase Briscoe, just because I think this track could suit him well, and he's been running well the past few weeks. And my other dark horse pick would be the 10 car of Noah Gregson, because talk about another guy who loves ripping the fence, and he's very good at doing it.
Hmm.
So you just don't know. So I guess I'll have to tune in to find out.
I'm curious
Yes,
to
we
see
shall.
how the 8 car does this week. They've had 2 solid weeks, qualifying and race, with little mistakes, and they've the mistakes they've made. Just again, I'm curious to see what Kyle does. But we've also seen him self spin, and this is a track that will make you spin out. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure that the momentum carries this week for Kyle in the Cup Series.
Yeah, I guess we shall see. Guys, it's going to be a fun weekend. I just love seeing those paint schemes out there on the Lady in Black in all three series. All the truck schemes, Xfinity and Cup, they all look amazing. Always disappointed in all the teams and sponsors that just don't want to do anything about it. Unfortunate.
DeWalt,
Yeah, DeWalt, they're debuting a new paint scheme for this weekend. So weird.
yeah.
100 years of DeWalt. Ooh. And
Bubba's
Noah's
running
just
a
running.
McDonald's scheme this week, and we still haven't seen it.
Yeah, well,
As of this taping, we haven't seen it. But
Noah's running his overstock car, but they said don't be surprised. It's going to be the same old overstock scheme. So,
That's what I heard. I heard that they weren't going to do anything with
man,
that.
oh,
what's
I don't know
Kyle
if you
running
guys
this week?
saw this on
Kyle's running
Twitter.
zone, so Kyle's definitely not doing a throwback.
Man, if Noah could run that Old Spice scheme,
Oh,
I'll put it on the show here. But
yeah.
man, that is the same exact colors as the overstock. That would be perfect to
Mhm.
throw back to smoke his boss. But oh well, I mean,
It does seem like the sponsors are coming around to kind of match in the old aesthetics, though.
yeah.
Um, of late, I mean, that's a lot of the times that we see these games don't get made is because the sponsors don't want to change up their logos and whatnot. So nice to see that. I mean, Suarez is a beautiful throwback for Quaker State.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
Formula
There's the
One
Bush.
throwback too. That's not
Yeah.
really something you see.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's throwing it back. Brad might be a dark horse to win this race just because he's actually running a Toyota this week. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Shh, I'm not a Ford. We can win if we're playing a Toyota." So
I
maybe
just,
Brad will win this race.
I just
There you
love
go.
Ross
Mhm.
Chastain's Bush Light throwback, because that's the old font, that's the old can right there, and oh
Yep.
man, it looks beautiful.
Martin Truex throwing it back to himself to the race, to the throwback race where he didn't run a throwback.
Yeah, it's so funny.
That was a good joke and whatnot. But
Yeah.
yeah. It's a fun weekend. Bring back all the fans that want the nostalgia. Here you go. Here it is.
Yep. Pretty damn cool. And yep, just cannot wait to see some action on the track this weekend, guys. So that'll about wrap it up for us, guys. Make sure to check us out on social media. If you like the video, make sure to like it and subscribe to our channel. And that'll do it for us, guys. So for the Stock Car Spectacle, I'm Ian Jortson.
Nick Kinsler.
I'm Tom Hoblet.
And we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the Lady in Black.